In this video I will talk about Kobo e-readers and why I'm thinking of starting using my Kobo e-readers again. I read a lot of books, but recently I have mostly used the Storytel e-reader because I have a Storytel account, and with a Storytel account you can both read and listen to books. So I have been using this Storytel e-reader when reading books for real, and also listen to audiobooks when driving to my work, for example, with my Storytel account. But I'm planning to get rid of my Storytel account, and then I can't use this Storytel e-reader anymore. The reason why I will not use Storytel e-reader anymore is because this e-reader is actually terrible. It's very bad quality, and it's very slow. As you see here, opening a book is very slow. You can't turn pages fast enough, and everything is very bad with this e-reader. Actually, it's not worth the money. So, for example, I can only turn pages with the buttons at the sides here, or by clicking on the screen left and right, but you can't do swipes, and that is very bad, because when I want to read in bed, for example, then I sometimes will hold the e-reader with the left hand, and then I can't click on the right side with the left hand, so I can't do a swipe as I can on a Kindle either. So turning pages, when sometimes reading a book with the left hand or with the right hand, is terrible with the Storytel e-reader. The only way you can do that is at every time you switch to the left hand, for example, you click on this button and then choose side inverted. Now I can click on this side to go forward and this side to go back. But you need to do that every time you switch hands, and that is a terrible solution. So this e-reader is not so good, so it's not worth the money when I want to read books for real. Yes, I can read books on my iPhone with the Storytel account, with the Storytel app. But the app for reading books in the Storytel app is not so good. You don't see any chapters. You don't see how many pages left in the chapters. You can see how long it will take to read a book or so. So reading books with a Storytel app on an iPhone or an iPad is not good either, because you don't have so much feature doing so. So that's why I bought this Storytel Reader, to read books with more pleasure. As you can see down here, you can see how many pages left in the chapter, for example. You can't do that in the Storytel app, but you can in the Storytel e-reader. But the hardware is too bad for a nice pleasure reading books. And that is one of the reasons why I'm planning, or at least thinking of, start using my Kobo e-readers instead. Here you see my Kobo e-readers. I have an old Kobo Libra H2O. It works perfectly fine still, and it's a very good 7-inch display. I think it's 7-inch, I don't remember. Maybe 8-inch maybe, but it's a larger display than the Kobo Clara 2E that I have here. So these two devices is great to read books on, and if I want to get rid of the Storytel Reader and the Storytel account, I can lay my money on buying books in the Kobo Store instead. But the problem with buying books in the Kobo Store is that they are more expensive than buying books in, for example, the bookstore called bokus.com here in Sweden. I can buy books for my e-readers from bookus.com much cheaper than I can buy them in the Kobo store, and they also has no DRM protection when buying them in the bookus.com store. They are watermarked instead, and that is much better, because that means that I can have them on any device reading books on. So I don't need to use a specific device to read the books. But one problem buying books in the bookus.com bookstore is that they will not sync between my Kobo devices, and you can't use those books in the Kobo app on my iPhone. So I can't read on these 3 devices or 4 devices with my iPad too, everything in sync. It's not possible to read a book that you haven't bought in the Kobo store and read that on all your devices in sync. That is unfortunate. So buying books cheaper without DRM protection from the Bookus store is not an option if I want to use my Kobo devices to read books on. Because I want to be able to read the same book on my iPhone and my Kobo Libra H2O and my Kobo Clara 2E. The reason for that is the Kobo Clara 2E is my smallest device, and I have that with me in my bag. The Kobo Libra H2O is always here at home, usually at my bed when I want to read at night. And the iPhone is always with me wherever I go, even on the toilet. So I need to be able to read a book on all these devices totally in sync. And the only way I can do that is buying books from the Kobo store, because then I can have all these in sync, or using Kindle devices. I can use Kindle devices. This is a Paperwhite signature edition. I can sideload books on a Kindle. For example, books I have bought from bookus.com. On this device without DRM protection, I can sideload it wirelessly, and it syncs to all my other Kindle devices. It syncs to my iPhone, it syncs to my iPad, so I can read everything in total sync. Everything with a great user experience. So the 2 options I have here is to buy books cheaper without DRM protection and sideload it to my Kindle devices and read it on all my devices totally in sync, or using the Kobo store, buying books directly from my Kobo devices and read them in total sync on all my devices. That is the 2 different options I have. So that is what I will try now. From now on, I will try first to see how good the experience is going back to use my Kobo e-readers, buying books from the Kobo store. Yes, a bit more expensive, but in total sync with all these devices. And I will also try one thing, buying a book from the Kobo store. This will be in my next video already. I will buy a book from the Kobo store, and I will try to remove the DRM protection from that book and put that book on my Kindle device too. That will be a nice experiment for the next video. So I will buy a book totally legal from the Kobo store and try to remove the DRM protection. I don't know if that's illegal or not, but I think when I have bought a book, I own the book. So I will use that book on any device I want to read it on. No one will force me to use that book on that device I bought it on. So I will bought it in Kobo store, try to remove the DRM protection and put it on my Kindle as an experiment in the next video. So that will be very interesting to see if that is possible. Otherwise, if that's not possible, I will still continue using that book I bought on these devices in total sync. And if that user experience is good enough, then I can replace a Storytel e-reader and my Storytel account. Yes, I will not have the audiobooks because on a Kobo you need to buy both the audiobook and the ebook. And the Kobo Plus book subscription you can have now, even here in Sweden, is a good option, but not so good because it doesn't have so many books yet. It's lacking a lot of books, so I still will need to buy some of the books I want to read because Kobo Plus account is not good enough. So that is not an option either. So replacing the Storytel account with a Kobo Plus account is not an option. And also Bokus Play is an account I can have with Swedish Books, and I can read and listen to books, but you can only do that on the phone and the iPad. You can't read any of the books or listen to any of the books on any other device. You can't read on a Kobo or a Kindle, for example. That is not possible. So the Bokus Play account is not an option either. So the only two options is using Kobo Store buying books or using Bokus Store and using my Kindle devices instead. So I will try everything in later videos. Next video will be me trying to remove DRM protection on a book that I buy from the Kobo Store. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel to see coming videos about this. So now you know why I will try using Kobo e-readers again to see if I can replace Storytel and Storytel Reader. Okay, bye.